If you have not yet set up Google Search Console on your WordPress website, you absolutely should. In this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to do that, but real quick, let me explain why. Google Search Console is a really nice platform that's going to help you get better insights and understanding into how your website is performing with Google, how well essentially you're meeting their requirements for how to show up in their index and rank well in their search. And so today, let me show you how to get that set up, and then I'll give you a brief tour of Google Search Console and some of the really neat things they have inside. First things first, to set up Google Search Console, what we need to do is go to Google Search Console. Here I am. This is the first page of Google Search Console. I click Start Now, and since I don't have a website on this Google account, I'm going to have to go ahead and add one before I can see anything else. Now, you'll notice it automatically defaulted to the Google account I'm logged into. If you have a specific Google account that you like to use for Google Analytics, etc., at this point you can click right here and you can switch Google accounts to the one that you want to use with Google Search Console. Okay, so now I'm going to put in the domain for the website. Now, Google wants to verify that I own it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this, what it tells me to copy, and I need to go create a TXT record in my DNS settings. Now, if that sounds a bit technical for you, then let me just walk you through it. It's actually pretty straightforward. Your DNS records are managed either at your domain registrar or usually at your host. They may be hosted through a CDN. They could be handled by your ad network if you're using like a Zoic. But for most people, especially if you're not sure, it's going to be your domain registrar or, in most cases, actually your hosting company. What's going to determine the difference is if you used name servers to point your domain to the host, then the DNS records are handled over by your host. If instead you went the probably less common route of pointing like an A record or something over to the host, then the DNS is still managed over at your domain registrar. So in most cases, it's going to be the hosting company you're going to go to. In my case, it's going to be Big Scoots. For this website, here I am. This is where my DNS records are stored. I'm going to want to add another one. So I'm going to add a TXT record. The name of it is cookforfolks.com, the name of the site. And then the value is that string of information, that string of characters that Google gave us. I'm going to go ahead and add that record. I've successfully created it, so now I'm going to go back. Now, sometimes it takes a little bit of time for that new record to fully propagate and be live on the web. So I'm going to try verifying now. We'll see if it works. Okay, in this case, it went through right away. Sometimes it can take even up to a day or two, in which case you'd say verify later. But now I can go to the property. Now I'm here, and now Google already has a bunch of information about this site because, well, I've already had this added to Google Search Console on a different Google account. So they've been tracking all this for me for quite some time. I can see here on the overview, there's a performance report, coverage report, experience. Let me walk you through a few of these because these are really valuable. You can see over here on the left side, by the way, you can get access to any of these things, but some show up right here on the dashboard. The performance report is going to tell me, first of all, this blue is how many clicks I got for on each day on Google. And then the purple is how many impressions. So how many times somebody saw one of my articles show up in the search results, okay? You'll see the numbers are different. I mean, these should actually be very far apart, but they're on two different scales, okay? You can check the click-through rate, just see how frequently people are clicking when they see it. Your average position for all of the articles that appear on Google, where do they appear on average, okay? And then here you can look at top queries. These are some of the queries that are driving the organic traffic to your website. You can click through your pages and just see, you should go through all of these and just see how it's working. Now, if you just added your site, you're probably not going to have much, if any, data here yet. Coverage was the next one. This is a good one to look at. I cover this one in a lot more detail over on the Income School YouTube channel. I have a series about why sometimes Google may not be indexing your content, how to know if they've indexed your content, which is, this report is a big piece of that, and then what to do if your content hasn't been indexed, how to go about helping ensure that it has the best chance to get indexed. This is a great report to essentially tell you which pages on your site. If I click here, I can see which of them have been indexed and which have been excluded from the index and some of the reasons why. Here you can add your sitemap. Now in that video series, again, I'm going to talk in a lot more detail about this stuff, how you can find your sitemap and how to add it here. It's another beneficial thing to add. Down here, the page experience report. This is another important one today. This one basically tells us how we're doing in Google's new page experience metrics. Now, it's got things like Core Web Vitals, which talk about just how fast your site loads and just kind of the user experience there. Mobile usability, how easy it is for your site to be used by mobile users. And then HTTPS is a pass-fail. Do you have an SSL certificate or not? If you don't know what I'm talking about, or when you load your site, it comes up HTTP, you should go talk to the host of your site and find out about how to get a free Let's Encrypt SSL certificate on your site. There are other important things in here. If Google were to take a manual action against your site, penalizing it for one thing or another, this is where you'd find that information. Google Search Console can also send you notifications, so you can get an email to let you know about specific things here that are happening on your website. Again, if you have not set up Google Search Console yet, go do it now. It won't take too long, and before you know it, you're going to start getting really good, rich data like this to help you better understand your site and how it's performing. And if you haven't yet watched it, go make sure you go check out that video series on the Income School YouTube channel to learn more about the index, how to get your content in it, and what to do if it's not appearing.